Hello friends, I welcome you all in the next lecture of Bridge Course Lecture Series. Today we are going to discuss the next topic of light, and that is refraction of light. Now, what is refraction of light? As you can read, light changes its direction when going from one transparent medium to another transparent medium. This property of light is called as refraction of light. So whenever light passes from one transparent medium to another transparent medium, it changes its direction, and this property we call it as refraction of light. Let's take an example. Suppose this is air medium and this is glass slab. Now you can see these are two different mediums. One medium is air and other medium is glass. Both the mediums are transparent medium. So when light will come from this first medium air, it is following a straight line path. But when it will enter in second medium, it will change its direction. So instead of going in a straight path like this, it will change its direction and it will go like this. So this property of light, we call it as refraction of light. Now, we are going to study laws of refraction. But before that, we will study some basic terms related to refraction of light. So here, we'll take the same example. But before going for some basic terms, I just want to make one thing clear to you. We can observe this refraction of light whenever this light incident obliquely on the second surface. So this, as you can see, this light is incident on this glass slab obliquely. If suppose this is a glass slab and light is coming like this, so in this case light will not change its direction. It will go straight in the second medium also. So if we want to observe this property of light, that is refraction of light, the rule is light should incident obliquely on the second surface. Then and then only we can observe the refraction of light. So we will see some basic terms related to refraction. As we know, this is the surface which separates two mediums. So I will denote this surface as xy. Suppose this is point of incidence O. On this point light is getting incident, so we will call it as a point of incidence. This ray AO will be incident ray. This ray AO will be incident ray. Now this OB will be refracted ray. Refracted ray. We know the meaning of normal. Normal is the line drawn perpendicular to the surface. So as this xy is our surface, I will draw a perpendicular line to it. Suppose I will give name Mn. This will be our normal. Mn will be normal. Now, angle between incident ray and normal, we call it as angle of incidence I. So, I is angle of incidence. I is angle of incidence. Now, angle between incident ray and surface, angle between incident ray and surface, we call it as theta, that is glancing angle. Remember, angle between incident ray and surface, we call it as glancing angle. So theta will be our glancing angle. Many students get confused between this theta and I. Suppose in CET exam, a question is asked that incident ray is making an angle of 40 degree with the surface. So as the word is coming incident ray, many students assume that this must be the angle of incidence and they use I is equal to 40 degree. But this will not be the case. The phrase used is angle between incident ray and surface. So angle between incident ray and surface is theta, that is glancing angle. They have not mentioned that this is the angle between incident ray and normal. So many students will get confused. So suppose this type of term or this type of phrase is used, that angle between incident ray and surface is 40 degree. That means glancing angle is 40 degree. And from glancing angle you can easily find out the angle of incidence. As you can see, addition of this both I and theta will be 90 degree. So if theta will be 40 degree, I will be 50 degree. If theta will be 30 degree, I will be 60 degree. So remember this relation, that I and theta, their addition is always 90 degree. Now next term, angle between refracted ray and normal is called as angle of diffraction. Angle between refracted ray and normal is called as angle of refraction. So we denote it by R. So R will be angle of refraction. R will be angle of refraction. Now one more term we'll consider. Suppose if this second medium is not present, if this second medium, that is glass, is not present here, then how this light ray will travel? You can see this light ray will travel a straight line path, so like this. So this light ray will travel a straight line path. We can call this as an expected path. If second medium is not present, then light will follow this path, so that will be our expected path. But now we kept the second medium, and by keeping the second medium, light changed its direction and it is going in direction OB. So OB is our actual path. OB is our actual path, and this dotted ray is our expected path. So angle between expected path and actual path, we denote it by symbol delta, and we call it as angle of deviation. Delta is angle of deviation. Angle of deviation. This was our angle of refraction, and delta is our angle of deviation. As the word suggests, it is deviation. Deviation means it is deviating the ray. Deviating means changing the direction. So by how much amount it changing the direction of light? Previously light was going through this direction, and now by keeping the second medium, it is going in this direction. So this much amount is the change in its path. So we call it as angle of deviation. Now you can observe the geometry. If you see, I will draw this part again. This is the surface, this is normal, this is incident ray, so we will call it as angle of incidence I. This will be our refracted ray. If this light ray goes straight, this will be delta, and this is our angle of refraction I. So if you observe the geometry of this figure, this angle I is vertically opposite angle of this. And this angle is addition of R and delta. And as we know, vertically opposite angles are congruent to each other. So you can write I is equal to R plus delta. I is equal to R plus delta. So always remember this relation. In CET, in NEET, in JEE, you may have to use this equation. So remember this equation. I is equal to R plus delta. So these are some basic terms. I is angle of incidence, theta is glancing angle, addition of I and theta is always 90 degree, R is angle of refraction, delta is angle of deviation, and the relation between I, R and delta is given by this relation. I is equal to R plus delta. Now we will move towards the next part, that is laws of refraction. Now we will start with the laws of refraction. In laws of refraction there are two statements. One statement, or the first statement, is very similar to the laws of reflection. I will read it for you. Refracted ray lies in the plane formed by incident ray and the normal drawn at the point of incidence. So same type of statement was there in law of reflection. Incident ray, reflected ray and normal are in the same plane. Here changes incident ray, refracted ray and normal are in the same plane. So again we can consider these three rays like this. Suppose this is incident ray, this is our normal, and this is our refracted ray. So as you can see, they are in the same plane. So if you consider this ray, if this coming is in this direction, this is incident ray, and it will go in the same plane in this direction. If it goes like this, or if it goes like this, then we can say they are not in the same plane. But this is not happening. Light is coming from this direction, so it will go in the same plane in this direction. Then one more thing, they added that, and the two rays are on either side of the normal. So this is also true. This is our incident ray, this is our refracted ray, and they are on the opposite side of the normal. This is our normal, so incident ray is on one side of the normal and the refracted ray is on the other side of the normal. So this statement was very similar to law of reflection. In law of reflection, statement was incident ray, reflected ray and normal lie in the same plane. Incident ray, reflected ray are on the opposite side of the normal. Here same statement, incident ray, refracted ray and normal are in the same plane, and incident ray and refracted ray are in the opposite direction of the normal. So now we will go for the second statement. Second statement is different. In law of reflection, second statement was angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Now here we will see what is the relation between angle of incidence and angle of refraction. Relation is angle of incidence and angle of refraction are related by Snell's law. What is Snell's law? We know Snell's law is ratio of sine of angle of incidence and sine of angle of refraction is constant. So this we call as Snell's law. Snell's law is sine I upon sine R is equal to constant. And what is this constant? We call this constant as refractive index. We call this constant as refractive index. So sine I upon sine R is equal to constant, and that constant is refractive index. Now how we write this refractive index? So sine I upon sine R is equal to, now in 11th standard we are writing this refractive index in a new form, and that form is refractive index, we use symbol n. Now here we consider two medium, first medium, second medium. So refractive index, we write it as refractive index of second medium with respect to first. Refractive index of second medium, that means 2, we write at the bottom of this n, and as it is with respect to first medium, 1, that first medium we write at the top but on the opposite side. So this is the statement of Snell's law, sine I upon sine R is equal to refractive index, and refractive index we write it as refractive index of medium 2 with respect to 1. Now in 11th standard, this was the statement in your 10th standard, that is diffraction of light chapter. Now in 11th standard we are going to use this statement in something different way. Now what we'll see, we'll use this relation and we will derive a new expression which we use in the standard 11. We are going to see the different statement or a different equation of Snell's law which is used in standard 11 chapter, but we'll start with our previous expression itself. But before that I will draw a simple diagram. Suppose this is a surface separating two medium, light is incident on this surface obliquely, this is incident ray, then it changes its direction in the second medium, this is our first medium, this is our second medium. It changes its direction in the second medium, we call this property as refraction of light. Here it is normal, this angle we denote it as I, this angle we denote it as R. O is point of incidence, OB is refracted ray, and MN is normal. Now for this refraction, what will be the statement of Snell's law? Snell's law statement is sine I upon sine R is equal to refractive index of second medium with respect to 1. This is the new way of writing refractive index in standard 11. I will not discuss here the way which you used to have in standard 10th because you will get confused. So whatever we are going to use after this, that means in standard 11th, that only I will write. This is the new way that we write second medium at the bottom side in the right hand side, and we write the first medium on the top on the left hand side. So this is the refractive index of second with respect to first medium, and its formula is sine I upon sine R. Now we know this refractive index, that is refractive index of second medium with respect to 1, we call it as relative refractive index. We call it as relative refractive index. After this, I am going to use short form Ri instead of refractive index. So this will be our relative refractive index. Now, as you all know, you already studied this in standard 10, that if first medium if first medium is vacuum or air, then there is no need to write this one. And that refractive index, we call it as absolute refractive index. So I will only write, and this will be absolute refractive index of medium 2. This will be absolute refractive index of medium 2. As 1 is not mentioned here, we can say first medium is vacuum or air. And in opposite sense, we also can say that if first medium is vacuum or air, there is no need to write 1. So if we write 1, that means this refractive index is relative refractive index. That means this refractive index of second medium is with respect to first medium. And if first medium is air or vacuum, there is no need to write this 1. We will say this is the absolute refractive index of medium second. Now, what is the relation between these two? This is refractive index of second medium with respect to 1. This is the refractive index of second medium only, or we can say second medium with respect to air or vacuum. So what is the relation between these two? We write this relation as refractive index of 2 with respect to 1 is equal to refractive index of second medium upon refractive index of first medium. So refractive index of second medium with respect to 1, this will be our relative refractive index, and its formula is N2, that means absolute refractive index of second medium upon absolute refractive index of first medium. So remember this formula, refractive index of 2 with respect to 1 is equal to refractive index of second medium upon refractive index of first medium. Now if I put this value N2 upon N1 here in our previous Snell's law which we used to have in standard 10th. If I put this formula here, what will be the expression? Expression will be N2 upon N1 is equal to sin I upon sin R. N2 upon N1 is equal to sin I upon sin R. Now I will do the cross multiplication here. N1 into sin I, so N1 into sin I is equal to N2 into sin R. So in standard 11, we are going to use this expression as our Snell's law. We are going to use this expression as our Snell's law, that is N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin I. I made this expression for this previous expression only. So after this, in standard 11, we are going to use this expression as a Snell's law, and that is N1 into sin I is equal to N2 into sin R. And it is very easy to remember, very easy. You can check the diagram. This is the first medium, so refractive index of this first medium is N1 and refractive index of this second medium is N2. You will say it is absolute refractive index. Absolute refractive index of first medium is N1 and absolute refractive index of second medium is N2. In first medium, angle mentioned is I, in second medium, angle mentioned is R. So by looking at this diagram, you can easily create this expression. In first medium, refractive index is N1, in first medium, angle is I, so you can write N1 sin I. So this gives us the values in the first medium. This gives us the values from the first medium. And in second medium, you can see refractive index of second medium N2 and angle in the second medium is R. So you can write this as N2 into sin R. So remember this expression, N1 into sin I is equal to N2 into sin R. And very easy trick to remember this. If two mediums are given, then refractive index of this first medium or refractive index of this medium into angle present in that medium is equal to refractive index is in the second medium into sine of angle present in that medium. So you can use this expression after this, N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin I. Now in this case of refraction, we are going to see two conditions, that if light rays travel from rarer medium to denser medium and light rays traveling from denser medium to rarer medium, and we are going to see one more formula of refractive index in terms of velocity of light in these two mediums. We studied one formula of refractive index, and that is Snell's law, and that formula is sin I upon sin R. Now we are going to study some other formulae of this refractive index. Again we need a diagram. So suppose this is a medium, this is a surface separating two mediums x, y, light is incident obliquely, A, O, this is normal, angle of incidence, Mn, it changes its direction, So it is OB, and this is angle of reflection. This is our first medium and this is our second medium. So for first medium I will define some values, for second medium I will define some values. For first medium, N1 is its absolute refractive index. For second medium, N2 is its absolute refractive index. In first medium, velocity of light is v1. And in second medium, velocity of light is v2. In first medium, wavelength of light is λ1, and in second medium, wavelength of light is λ2. In first medium, this is in second medium. Here wavelength of light in second medium, this is wavelength of light in first medium. We know our one formula. That one formula is refractive index of second medium with respect to 1 is equal to sin I upon sin I. Now we will write one more formula, and all of you know this formula already. You studied this formula in standard 10th, and that is refractive index of second medium with respect to 1 is velocity of light in first medium upon velocity of light in second medium. Velocity of light in first medium upon velocity of light in second medium. So formula is v1 upon v2. We can remember this formula by one more trick, that if I write refractive index like this, that refractive index of second medium with respect to 1, that means second is on this side, 1 is on this side, so 1 will come at the numerator and 2 will come at the denominator. That means velocity of light in first medium will come at the numerator and velocity of light in second medium will come at the denominator. Why I am telling this? Because many times in exam or in any competitive exam, instead of 1 and 2, name of the mediums are given. So suppose if they ask in the exam that refractive index of glass with respect to water is given. So how you will write refractive index of glass with respect to water? You will write G here, G is for glass and W is for water. So this is refractive index of glass with respect to water. Now if you want to find out the formula in terms of velocities, so you will get confused between which will take first and which will take second. So instead of that, you can just use our trick that whatever is used here, W, that will go to the numerator. So velocity of light in water will go to the numerator and velocity of light in glass will go to denominator. So in this, by using this trick, you can easily remember this formula. Now one more formula we already studied about absolute refractive index, and that absolute refractive index formula is N2 upon N1. N2 upon N1, that means refractive index of second medium upon refractive index of first medium. Now in standard something 9th or 10th, we have studied one equation about waves. That equation you can use for any type of wave. You can use it for sound wave, you can use it for light wave, and that is velocity of wave is equal to frequency into wavelength. Is equal to frequency into wavelength. We write this as velocity v. For frequency we use f or n, but as I am using n for refractive index, I am using f for the frequency, and wavelength is lambda. So v is equal to f lambda is a very famous equation in case of waves, and we can use it in all types of waves. Now here what will happen to the frequency? When light is traveling from one medium to another medium, its velocity changes. As you can see, here velocity is v1, here velocity is v2. Their wavelength changes. Here wavelength is λ1, here wavelength is λ2. But what will happen to their frequency? So remember this, frequency remains constant in refraction. So remember this, frequency always remains constant in the refraction. On this one statement, they can create confusing question. For example, if frequency of light in first medium is given. F is equal to 5 into 10 raised to 14 hertz. You know the unit of frequency is hertz. Then angle of incidence I is given as 30 degree. Refractive index is given as 3/2. So what will be the frequency in the second medium? Now students will get confused that frequency in first medium is given, I is given, refractive index is given. So we have to do some calculation and we have to find out the frequency in the second medium. But it will only waste your time. Always remember, frequency remains constant in the refraction. Frequency will not change. So whatever will be the frequency in the first medium, it will remain as it is in the second medium. So in first medium, frequency is 5 into 10 raised to 14 hertz. Without any calculation, without any solving, you can directly write that frequency in the second medium is same, and that is 5 into 10 raised to 14 hertz. So in this way they can confuse you, but always remember this, frequency remains constant. So if I use this expression here, I will write, instead of V1, I can write F into lambda 1. Instead of V2, I can write F into lambda 2. As you can see, I am not writing F1 and F2 because frequency is constant. So this F will get cancelled and we will get one more expression, that is lambda 1 upon lambda 2. Remember this expression, lambda 1 upon lambda 2. So all the expressions of refractive index is mentioned here. Refractive index of 2 with respect to 1. One formula N2 upon N1. Second formula sin I upon sin R. Third formula V1 upon V2. And fourth formula lambda 1 upon lambda 2. So from this all expression, any problems based on any expression can be asked in the examination. So you have to learn all these expressions. And remember, this frequency remains constant in refraction. Now we will consider two cases of refraction. One is when light travels from rarer medium to denser medium, and when light travels from denser medium to rarer medium. So we'll start with the first case, that light is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium. So here I will again draw the same diagram. Suppose this first medium is rarer and second medium is denser. Now, what is rarer medium and what is denser medium? A very simple explanation of this is, if the medium who's having refractive index more or bigger refractive index, that we called as denser medium, and the medium with the less refractive index, we call it as a rarer medium. So obviously this rarer medium will have a less refractive index and this denser medium will have a higher refractive index. Now I will write all our formulae here, that refractive index of 2 with respect to 1 is equal to N2 upon N1, sin I upon sin R, V1 upon V2 and lambda 1 upon lambda 2. And our first case is, this is our first case, that is rarer medium to, light is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium. And as I told you that rarer medium is having less refractive index and denser medium is having more refractive index. So I can write like this, N2 greater than N1. Refractive index of second medium is greater than refractive index of first medium. Now you can use this relation everywhere here. So as this N2 is greater than N1, this N2 is greater than N1, that means numerator is greater than denominator. Same relation will be followed here. So here V1 will be greater than V2. V1 will be greater than V2. V1 is velocity of light in rarer medium and V2 is velocity of light in denser medium. So always remember that velocity of light in rarer medium is more than velocity of light in denser medium. Now use same for lambda 1, lambda 2. So lambda 1 greater than lambda 2. Lambda 1 is wavelength of light in the rarer medium and lambda 2 is wavelength of light in denser medium. So as you can see, wavelength of light in rarer medium is more than wavelength of light in denser medium. This MCQ or this question was asked in many of the previous exams in CET, in NEET, in JEE, that what will happen to wavelength if light is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium. 4 options were given. It increases, it decreases, it remains constant, or none of the above. So as you can see, this lambda 1 is greater, that means wavelength of light in rarer medium is greater and wavelength of light in denser medium is smaller. So wavelength decreases while going from rarer to denser. Wavelength decreases from going from rarer to denser. Now last one, we'll use this formula, or we'll use this relation n2 greater than n1 for this, as n2 greater than n1, that means numerator greater than denominator. Here numerator will be greater, that is sin I will be greater than sin R. Sin I will be greater than sin R. That means I greater than R. I greater than R. That means angle of incidence is greater than angle of refraction. Angle of incidence greater than angle of refraction. That means here you can see this is our angle of incidence. If I extend this ray, it will be like this. And as this R is smaller than I, so this R must be smaller than this angle. This refracted ray must come in this direction of this dotted line. So this R must be less than, because as this is a I, its vertically opposite angle will also be I. And if R is smaller than I, then this R should be like this, which is smaller than I. So in other words, I can say, if light is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. It will always go towards the normal. It will bend towards the normal. So light, whenever light goes from rarer to denser medium, it always bends towards normal. Remember this, it always bends towards normal. Now we'll go for the second, that is denser to rarer. Now I will draw the diagram afterwards. First we'll discuss this all points. Here N1 will be greater than N2. N1 will be greater than N2. That means refractive index of this denser medium will come at the above side, rarer medium will come at the bottom side, and here refractive index N1, that means denser medium refractive index will be more than the rarer medium. So here it will be N1 greater than N2. Now here V1 greater than V2, right? Here N1 is greater than N2, that means denominator is greater than numerator. So here it will be V2 greater than V1. Sorry, it will be V2 greater than V1. That means velocity of light in second medium. Here second medium is now rarer. So velocity of light in rarer medium is greater than velocity of light in denser medium. First, this is our first medium. This is our second medium. Here it was first medium. This second medium. So first medium is our denser medium. So its refractive index is more than the second, that is rarer medium. Then velocity of light in the rarer medium is more than velocity of light in denser medium. Then lambda 2 greater than lambda 1. Again same, that is wavelength in rarer medium is greater than wavelength in denser medium. Now what will happen to I and R? You can see N1 is greater, so here R will be greater than I. So here R will be greater than I. Remember this, angle of refraction will be greater than angle of incidence. Now we will draw a diagram from this R greater than I. So consider this as denser medium, this as rarer medium. This is our first medium, this is our second medium. Suppose light is incident obliquely. This is our incident ray, this is our normal I. If second medium is not present here, light will go in straight direction. So as this is I, this will also be I. And as you can see, R is greater than I. R is greater than I, so I have to draw the refracted ray such that angle of refraction should be greater than angle of incidence. Now if this much is the angle of incidence, I have to draw refracted ray like this. So this will become our angle of refraction R, and here you can see R is greater than I. And in other words, we can say whenever light travels from denser medium to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. If second medium was not there, light will go straight like this. But as second medium is there, it will bend away from the normal because angle of diffraction is more than angle of incidence. So from denser to rarer medium, light bends away from normal. Remember this, light bends away from the normal. So we discussed these two conditions in detail. What will happen when light travels from rarer to denser? Remember, it will bend towards the normal. Here, velocity of light in rarer medium is more than velocity of light in denser medium. Wavelength of light decreases. Remember, wavelength of light decreases while going from rarer to denser, and I is greater than R. All the conditions are opposite here. Here, R is greater than I, and light bends away from the normal. Now, these all conditions you have already studied in standard 10. Now, in next part, we will see one new formula which you haven't studied yet in standard 10. So, it is a new formula of refractive index. Refraction of light is everyday phenomenon. We observe refraction of light in our daily life at many places. You can do a simple experiment at your home. If you take a transparent glass, if you fill it with water and you keep one pencil obliquely in this glass, obliquely means like this. So whenever you will watch from the side view, the part of the pencil which is outside the glass will be appear normal, but part of the pencil which is there inside the water, it will look like this. It will be displaced. It will look displaced from this original part. One more experiment you can do. If you put a coin here, whenever you pour some water in, and if you put the coin at the bottom, after some time you will see that coin is floating somewhere in the middle. Actually it is at the bottom, but we see that it is at the middle. One more phenomenon we observe every day. Whenever we go at some place where there is a water, that means like a river or a swimming pool, and we observe the floor of that swimming pool through the water. That floor appeared at the higher height, but when we enter into water, we find that the floor was not there where we were looking, but it is at the below of that. So this is the phenomenon we observe in everyday life. Whenever we are looking through the water, its floor appears at the higher level, but actually that level is not changed, but it just appears at the higher level. So how this happen and what is the formula or what is the expression used here, that we will see in this topic. So we will take one example. Suppose this is some tank and it is filled with water. It is filled with water. Now, one light ray will come like this. As you can see, this light ray is not getting incident obliquely on this second surface, so it will go straight. It will go straight. Now, when this ray will incident on this surface, suppose this surface is opaque, and this light ray will get reflected. This light ray will get reflected. And when this light ray will come out of the air, at this point, refraction will happen. Because air is rarer medium. Air is rarer medium. Refractive index of air or vacuum, we always consider it as 1. Remember this, refractive index of air or vacuum, we consider it as 1. And refractive index of all other mediums like oil, water, glass, diamond, they are all more than 1. So we always consider air as a rarer medium because its refractive index is less than all other medium. So this will be water, and water will be denser medium. And I told you, whenever light travels from denser medium to rarer medium, it will bend away from the normal. It will bend away from the normal. So if I draw a normal here, it will bend away. That means it was supposed to go straight, but it will bend away from the normal. So like this it will be. So what will happen? If we are looking at this floor from this direction. This is our eye, and we are looking at this floor from this eye. This ray is coming towards our eyes, and by property of our eye, if we extend this ray like this floor inside the water will appear here. This floor inside the water will appear here. So whenever we will look from this side, we will feel that this floor is here. But whenever we will put our feet here or we will enter into water, we will find that this floor was not here, it was here. So now here I will use two terms. This is R. R is real depth of water. R is real depth of water. And this much distance is A. A we call it as apparent depth of water. A we call it as apparent depth of water. Apparent means what is appearing, and real is what is actually the depth is. So R is the actual depth and A is the apparent depth. Now what is the relation between this R and A? That we'll find out in this expression. I will give here some names. As this ray is coming from this side, so this will be our incident ray. So angle between incident ray and normal, we call it as angle R. This will be our angle R. Because light is traveling from denser medium to rarer medium, so I will appear here. And this will be our R. That is angle of refraction. So if I extend this normal up to this, I will consider this distance. Suppose I give it name as small x. Now, this ray was entering into our eyes and we were feeling that floor is here. So what we did, we extended that ray backside which was coming towards our eyes. So this dotted line is extension of this ray. So you can see if this is R, this will be the vertically opposite angle of R. So this will also be R. Now, if this is x, if I join this line, this will also be x. Now, I will use the formula for sin I and sin r. So, if I consider this triangle, it is like this. This is I, this is x, and this distance is r. So, in this case, what is sin I? What is sin I? Sin I is opposite side. Sin I is opposite side upon hypotenuse. But this angle I is very small. This angle I is very small. And if I is very small, then we can consider this line and this line as approximately equal. Or we can consider for smaller angles only, their sine ratio and their tan ratio are approximately equal. So this is true for only smaller angle. You can check this. For smaller angles, their sine ratio and their tan ratio are approximately equal. So I can write sin I, I will write approximately equal to tan I. What is the ratio of tan I? Tan of I is opposite side upon adjacent side. So this will be our x upon r. Now what is the formula for sin r? Again, r is also small. So we can consider sin r approximately equal to tan r. Now for this r, I will draw this triangle again. This triangle. It is like this. This is our r. Now this distance is same, x, and this distance is our apparent depth, a. So what will be the value of tan r? Opposite side upon adjacent side. So it is x upon a. X upon a. Now we will use our Snell's law. What our Snell's law says, that formula of Snell's law was n1 into sin I is equal to n2 into sin r. So we'll use it here. Now remember this, whenever we find out refractive index of any medium, we usually, if two mediums are given, one is air and second is some denser medium, so we always find out refractive index of the denser medium. So whenever we write refractive index of 2 with respect to 1, we usually take second medium as denser medium. So here you can now see this is denser medium light is going from denser medium to rarer medium. Light is going from denser medium to rarer medium. Suppose I consider refractive index of this denser medium as n. N is equal to refractive index of this denser medium, and as this is air, its refractive index is 1. Its refractive index is 1. Now we will use Snell's law. By Snell's law. Now I have given you trick about Snell's law. So I am considering this medium now. This medium, okay? Second medium, or you can say water or denser medium. It is not actually the second medium, it is first medium, because light is traveling from first to this second. So we will consider this medium denser medium, or we will say water medium. In this, refractive index is n, and angle mentioned is I. So we will write it as n into sin I. In this rarer medium, refractive index is 1 and angle mention is R. Refractive index is 1 and angle mention is R. So here we will write it as 1 into sin R. So what will be the value of n? N will be 1 into sin R is sin R. This sin R is multiplied here. When it will go here, it is sin R. Now we will put these values. Value of sin R is x upon a, and value of sin I is x upon r. So we cancel this x and our expression becomes n, that is refractive index. This r will go outside, it will come into numerator, and a will be in denominator. So n is equal to r upon a. What is r? R is real depth, and what is a? A is apparent depth. A is apparent depth. So remember one more formula of refractive index, and that formula is R upon A, that is real depth upon apparent depth. We saw many formula of refractive index. This is new for you. This was not studied in the standard 10. This is new for you. So remember this formula N, that is refractive index of denser medium. N is refractive index of denser medium is equal to R upon A, that is real depth upon apparent depth. And usually we consider this formula whenever there is a problem on water. So remember this formula, N is equal to R upon A, that is real depth upon apparent depth. We will start with the next topic, and that is total internal reflection. You already studied this topic in standard 10. I will just revise it because it is there as it is in standard 11. So what is total internal reflection? I will consider one denser medium. It may be glass, it may be water. So this is our denser medium. This is our rarer medium. Suppose I have put a source of light here at the bottom. This is our source of light. So one ray from this source of light will go like this, straight line. And we know we can observe refraction only if light incident obliquely. So here it is not a obliquely incident light ray. So it will not deviate, it will not refract, it will go in a straight line. If some other ray is going like this, I will draw normal here. This will be our eye. When going from denser medium to rarer medium, light will bend away from the normal. So refracted light ray will be like this. This will be our eye. Now we know that Snell's law, sin I upon sin R is constant. That means ratio of sin I and sin R is constant. When ratio of two quantities is constant, that means they are directly proportional to each other. So that means sin I and sin R are directly proportional to each other. If we remove sin, that means I directly proportional to R. And if we increase I, R will increase. Remember this? Sin I directly proportional to sin R. So I directly proportional to R. If we increase I, R will increase. So I will consider a different ray like this. This is our normal. So you can see I is increased. I is increased. So as I is getting increased, R will also increase, and now R will be larger than this. Now it will go on. Whenever we will increase I, R will increase. Whenever we will increase I, R will increase. And one point will come when we will increase I in such a way that R will again increase, and it will be now 90 degree. R will be 90 degree. So when angle of refraction is 90 degree, that angle of incidence we call it as IC, that is critical angle. So critical angle is the angle of incidence when angle of refraction is 90 degree. Remember, this critical angle is the angle of incidence when angle of refraction is 90 degree. But we will again increase I and we will go beyond this IC. What will happen? I will increase I. Now here I will be greater than IC. Again this R will increase. Now this R will be greater than 90 degree. And R is greater than 90 degree, that means light ray will not go in the rarer medium, it will reflect in a denser medium. This will be our R, which is greater than 90 degree. So here refraction will not happen, here reflection will happen. And that reflection we call it as total internal reflection. Total internal reflection. So to observe the total internal reflection, there are two main conditions. One is light should travel from denser medium to rarer medium. First is light should travel from denser to rarer. And second is this I should be greater than IC. I should be greater than IC. So this is total internal reflection. Whenever light travels from denser medium to rarer medium with the angle of incidence greater than critical angle, it will not go in the rarer medium, it will reflect back in the denser medium, and that property of light we call it as total internal reflection. Now what is the formula of this IC? What is the formula of critical angle IC? So we will find out the formula for critical angle. Consider this is surface separating two medias x, y. Now we will consider this as denser medium and this as rarer medium. This is our normal MN, point of incidence O. Light will come from the denser medium. So angle between incident ray and normal we will call it as I. In this case we will call it as IC. And when we consider this angle of incidence as IC, that means R must be 90 degree. R must be 90 degree. So now we will find out the formula for IC. What will be the formula for IC? Now this is the denser medium. Refractive index of denser medium is given, that is N. N is refractive index of denser medium. And you know, we usually consider rarer medium as air. So refractive index of air is 1. Refractive index of air is 1 and N is the refractive index of denser medium. Now by using Snell's law. First we will consider this medium, denser medium. We will consider a denser medium. In denser medium, refractive index is N and angle is IC. Refractive index N, angle is IC. So I can write N into sin IC. N into sin IC. Now we will consider this rarer medium or air. We will consider this medium, rarer medium. Refractive index 1 and angle is R. So it will be sin R. It will be sin R. Now N into sin IC. Sin R. What is the value of R? R is 90 degree. R is 90 degree. So here it will be sin 90 degree. So N into sin IC. Sin 90 degree is equal to 1. Sin 90 degree is equal to 1. Now I have to find out the formula for IC. So sin IC is equal to 1 upon N. Sin IC is equal to 1 upon N. And if I want to find the IC, that is critical angle, this sin will get here and it will be sin inverse of 1 upon N. So IC, formula for IC, critical angle is sin inverse of 1 upon N. N is refractive index of the denser medium and its formula is IC is equal to sin inverse of 1 upon N. If you want to find out the formula for N, that is refractive index, you can write this N will come here, sin IC will go here, so it will be 1 upon sin IC. So to find refractive index, you can use this formula 1 upon sin IC. To find the critical angle IC, you can use this formula sin inverse of 1 upon N. So here we studied total internal reflection.